my first wife. I don't know if I had my second and third wife. What is it? Tank commander's girlfriend with no bra. She was a nude model in Thailand. This is when I was awarded the Bronze Star. Actually, that's my dad. That's my mom. This is the weapon that I carried in Vietnam. I lost it in Operation Orange. It was actually shot off my shoulder. And
that picture?
Yeah, that's the picture of the machine gun. And this is the air wing I was aboard when I was aboard USS Hancock, and I was a bodyguard for Rear Admiral Morrison, Jim Morrison's father, leader of the Doors. I arrested him in Japan in 1969.
Oh my God.
Yep.
You guys didn't make fun?
Oh yeah. Oh, we had
singing the songs, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh,
you guys are soldiers.
I didn't know Jim Morrison at the time.
No?
I didn't know he was the leader of the Doors.
So is that you?
Yep, that's me. That's what I got from Morgan.
And what's your last name, Terry?
Garcia.
Terry Garcia.
Yeah.
All right. That's nice. When did you make this?
This here?
Yeah.
Oh, I made this a long time ago. I've had this for years.
Is that your? Who's that?
That was one of my first loves. She was a girl. One of my first loves. Her name was Rosemary Vickers. She was married to a Navy sailor. Yeah, he was on the USS. I don't want to say Hancock because I was on the Hancock when I was having Morrison's. Yeah, I loved her to no end. No end was that.
Money right now, right?
Oh yeah.
Look at this stuff right here. This is nice. It's awesome. You still got it in you.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Keep everything. And this was a sword. It was given to me by division commander. In fact, his name was. Oh, I can't remember his name. But this is it was an award from him to me, with this award right here. For honor and valor. Well, I was in Okinawa and I was in charge of 275 men.
So you were rewarded that sword.
Yes, that was an award to me.
And how many men?
Huh?
How many men did you say?
275 men was the whole company.
Wow.
It was three rifle platoons and one weapons platoon. It's called a Shellback Award for crossing the equator. One of the very few Marines that got it. This is me when I was aboard the USS Hancock with a bodyguard for Admiral Morrison, and that's my dad. And that's me with one of my racing cars. Here's my international license for being overseas. And this is a picture of me in Okinawa. It was a picture I sent to my oldest daughter. And there's my honorable discharge from the Marine Corps. And that's me when I first got out, first got out of basic training. And this is an award. It's a trophy that I was receiving from my commanding officer. And this gentleman right here was my captain in my section. And that was the first inaugural Marine Corps football Super Bowl.
Wow.
Okay. That's when I got the award from. That's when I got my Silver Star over there. And the award up there on top is, if I remember correctly, it's United States Marine Corps NCO school, and I was number 1 ranked.
Wow.
For that. But
so were you in Special Forces?
no, I was in 3rd Marine Division.
I want to ask.
I really do, and I honestly believe that what is going on is because of the presidential elections coming up, and I don't myself personally, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I don't appreciate what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I really don't. If they were going to go over and do that, they should have done the same. Because all we're going to do, what I'm doing, is rebuild them up again. They're talking about turning the Iraq land back to them on June 30th. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen with that? He said, we're going to wind up staying there anyway, and we're going to want to stick in millions of dollars back in it, just like we did Japan when we bombed Japan. Same thing. Vietnam, we didn't put much back into Vietnam because we destroyed it. If you think about it, we honestly we took it apart, and
we lost a lot of soldiers too.
yeah, there was believe this or not, there was more people killed on California freeways than there was in Vietnam in the same time period.
Wow.
And the reason I know that is because I checked on it when I came back from Vietnam, and people said, "Why did you do that, Terry?" I said, "Well, I wanted to see how many people were actually killed in Vietnam and how many people were killed on California freeways." And because one of my buddies, who was a cook, we just came back together. He went and bought a brand new MG. That night, he was killed. His car went under a 18-wheeler trailer. Took his head off. But,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, first off, I would like to start out with his name is, this is Terry Garcia.
Terry J. Garcia, right?
Terry J. Garcia. This is a Vietnam veteran, and he has some really interesting things to say. I mean, already I've been amazed of everything he's been telling me right now. As far as that, this is Kindle Styles Productions, and we're going to do this interview. So, first off, I want to start out with is what year did you enlist?
1964, December 23rd.
1964.
2 days before Christmas.
All right. And when did drafting go on during that period?
Oh, drafting, it was
just nonstop.
It was non-stop, yeah, from that time on.
Wow.
I met a lot of guys who had been drafted. After they got in, they didn't really care. But once you got in the Marine Corps, you were once a Marine, always a Marine. Semper Fi, never die.
You never got drafted. You wanted.
No, I enlisted. I enlisted in the Marine Corps in '64.
See, this is a real soldier right here. So you were in the Marines then?
Yes.
What was your what is it?
MOS.
Division? MOS. Yes.
And MOS that was my job description. I was in weapons platoon. I was an M60 machine gunner.
Wow.
There was two of us in each. Yeah, it was three of us in each platoon, and we were sent out to the rifle platoons when I first started out, and we basically laid down the base of fire for the riflemen to go across the field in teams, which I can tell you a little later on about one of the operations we went on where there was 62 of us, and only 14 of us came back, and I was one of the wounded. I was one of the wounded, but I was able to come back on my own.
And you've received the Purple Heart for that, right?
Yeah, it was one of the Purple Hearts I received.
That's awesome. How many years did you complete?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. And
that was from 1964 and
1974, right? And then they gave me at first they gave me medical discharge, and then they converted to general because after a certain period of time, 10 years, I chipped the bone in my spine in an automobile accident in Oakland, in California, and that's what got my discharge. It wasn't because of a wound or anything other than that. And then they found out that I had what they call post-leg trauma syndrome.
What is that?
It's I was digging holes in my backyard, foxholes, and sleeping in them with a rifle loaded.
Well, they probably don't understand how it is.
Oh yeah, well,
going over there and fighting.
Yeah, they didn't know what I had in my head. It wasn't physical; it was mental. And as you'll see, on all my doors, inside and out, there's alarms on them, and I have cameras on the outsides. It monitors the front and back of my house.
Right on.
Yeah, it's. I don't really want to call it security, but it's for me. My own peace of mind.
Yeah.
And I still have to see a therapist about twice a month. And I call him on the phone, or call her on the phone, whoever answers, and I talk to him for a little bit. I went to meetings before, but those guys are really bad shape. I mean, worse than I am. I mean, these guys are in hospitals on floor 13, they call it, psych ward. And I'm not that bad, but
you seem normal.
Yeah. Well, when the night falls, the whole atmosphere changes. I don't know if you've noticed my windows; they're green.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and in fact, I designed this curtain thing here like a wall with the humps over it, because nobody can see in, but I can see out.
Wow. you're trained to do that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know.
You know, I've done a lot of stuff. You know, I can tell when people.
And you're not a bad guy too, so that's the thing is, you know, you're a hero. I mean, people look up to you.
I don't consider myself a hero. You know why? Because the reason I joined the Marine Corps is that back in '64, even before that, communism. So we ever heard was communism. And I wanted to make sure communism wasn't going to come and get my brothers and sisters because I was the oldest. And so I joined the Marine Corps. Made sure they didn't come over here, and never did get over as far as I know yet. But yeah.
I like that. So where were your locations?
Da Nang, Phu-Bai. I was even in DMZ at one time.
Yeah.
We did some fighting there, and we lost a lot of people. You know, to be honest with you, I'd have to look at some of my plaques, and I don't have them here to actually tell you where I was at. But I was on USS Hancock doing sea duty with Comcarrier Division 9, which was Admiral Morrison.
So that's how they departed you guys, or dock you guys off the boat?
Oh no! You know, my first tour, we went over on a ship, an APA's troop carrier, and then we went to Okinawa and we trained a little bit more there about Vietnam. We learned about booby traps and different kind of things that could kill us or hurt us. And I got to be really good at it, to be quite honest with you, because I was not allowed to fire my machine gun at nighttime from a foxhole. I had to set up booby traps on the outside with barbed wire.
What's a foxhole?
A foxhole is something you stay in, and you
kind of like a bunker. Underground.
Well, no. Foxhole is it's about as big as this table or bigger, and it's deep enough to where you're about chest high, and you can see this way. You have maneuver. In my case, I had a machine gun, so I had a bunker, like you said, it was overhead, and then I had it marked at certain points with a slide. It was on tripods, and you could move it back and forth, and you knew exactly where you were shooting at, up or down.
And this was in the jungle?
And this was in the jungle.
Wow.
I even had one time I had a rock ape. We were goofing around one night, and he would always come up to the hole, but he was down on the side of this hill, and he would throw rocks up at us. And so one night, one of the guys.
So you're just there firing.
No, we're not even shoot at him because we knew who it was. We knew what it was, and because we had these detectors. I had one that was 75, 100, 125, and 150 feet away from where I was at, and when you click this thing, you could hear things walking. Excuse me.
Turn your outside light on.
Huh?
Turn your outside light on. Okay, so.
I'm being interviewed. How's it going?
For what? Hi.
Vietnam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's
My
your
name is Joe.
Hi, Becky. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I got the rags and everything sitting in the back.
I brought some rags. Okay, I'll work.
All right, we're back.
And what was your nickname?
Tijuana Garcia.
Tijuana Garcia.
Yeah, because my last name was Garcia. I was from Chicago. In fact, they used to call me the wetback from Chicago. And they used to piss me off. Because I'm Spanish. I'm not Mexican or anything like that. I'm Spanish and German, I should say. That's where the light skin comes from. But I was what they call a house mouse. Basic training.
What's that?
That means I had to do all the work for the drill instructors. Shine their shoes, we're gonna get their coffee for them, get their meals. Plus I had to do my own stuff, you know. And
kind of like Forrest Gump.
Bingo! Right on the money, except one time they stuck me in a foot locker, and they put lighter fluid on the bottom of it, maybe stuck it, and they threw a match in there and closed the locker. Camming on me. I got out. I barely, basic training, I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff about the Marine Corps. That's what made me a better man. Than when I went in, I was a punk, and coming out, I was a man. I went in the Marine Corps weighing 133.5 pounds, and I had to take 2 bowls of quarters and stick them in my pocket to weigh 135 to be able to get into the basic training.
Wow.
When I came out of basic training, I weighed 185 pounds. 16 weeks of basic training. But I loved it. I loved every minute, every moment, and I was in there.
How did you feel when you were being flown in to Vietnam?
I did get flown into Vietnam.
You didn't. You were shipped. Yeah.
Shipped, and we landed up in those boats. But
How
there
did
was,
that feel like? What were you feeling at that?
well, at that
exact
time, yeah, we always thought that we were going to be shot at, and especially being an M60 machine gunner, our life expectancy was only 7 seconds. They said once we hit the beach, you had 7 seconds and you're dead.
Isn't it true that Marines they act before they think? They're trained to do that.
Oh yes,
Yep.
yeah. In fact, when I went down for some of my physical things down there, they asked me occupation while in the Marine Corps. Professional killer.
Sure.
That's exactly what I wrote down there. Professional killer. The therapist wouldn't even talk, barely even talk to me. They're like that, because that's what they're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Professional killers. And I didn't know what to say. Yeah,
that's what
and the doctor would go, well, Garcia, we don't think you're physically fit to be mentally instituted, but you sure have a lot of reasons why you act the way you act. I said, well, my first tour of Vietnam, I swore on my mother's life that she's still alive. I killed over 52 men with a machine gun, and that was because I counted them. I stopped counting at 52, so I
And
know.
how does that feel? I mean,
It
you're
felt
working for the.
It felt okay at the time, but after I got out of the Marine Corps, this is why I am the way I am. It's what gave me the right to kill another human being?
Yeah.
And God never told me, hey, Terry, it's okay to go ahead and do this. But I was taught by the Marine Corps, it's better to kill than to be killed. Because
I read that in the book.
I saw women coming out of a bush with automatic weapons, killing my Marine friends. Out of the 62 Marines I'm talking about, there was 2 60 caliber machine guns, 2 30s, and all riflemen. By the time we got across to the other side, we had to get another company, or another platoon, flown in, and as corporal, who's in charge of the second lieutenant, he told me, Garcia, and this is a corporal, Van Toll is his name. Hey, Terry, or Garcia, come here, bring that machine gun over here. I took the machine gun off the helicopter, because I told you mine was shot off my shoulder. And he goes,
M60.
yeah. What happened is, I was running, and a bullet hit the back of the feed plate cover, and knocked the machine gun off my shoulder. I picked it up and ran again, and then when I hit the ground, one round went off, and I looked. That belt of bullets, that's blanks, but there was real bullets in the one I had. I looked at it and I went, as soon as I lifted the cover up, the belt fell out, and I realized the hole through the top of the feed cover, and the bullet was stuck inside the chamber of the machine gun.
Wow.
So that was no good. Dumped it to the side, pulled my 45 out, this was my sidearm, and fired at it, and then I crawled up next to another Marine who was already dead, grabbed his M14 and some magazines and fired, and the Marines that were left out of the 14 I was telling you about, we went back to the rear. And actually,
So
Sure.
what's it like when
you being shot at,
yeah,
it's horrible.
isn't it green or red tracers?
Oh, no, that's-
that communists have red.
No, they're called tracers, but the machine gun that I was telling you about, every 5th round was a tracer. On those 60s, they don't have tracers. You just hear them, and they'll boom, boom, and it goes just boom, boom, boom.
So there's
boom,
no
boom.
there's no color whatsoever if it's at night or during
Oh,
the day.
well, daytime or
Like the
nighttime.
first bullets.
Every 5th round is a tracer. They're different.
We never have no company until.
Yeah, I know. Making me feel good too. I'll tell you why.
Hey, I could promise one thing too. This guy just mentioned 10 grand, for doing projects that he's done when he was young. He's doing his what was it? Photo.
Oh yeah, energy conservation.
And
It's a big thing right now. It really is. In fact, it's more so. I could probably make big money, but I'm retired. I'm retired now, and it's not that I wouldn't want to do it. It's just that when I got out of the Marine Corps, I knew what it was to be a man. I knew what it was to be the responsibilities, and I went into training right away. My compadre, who is Mexican, Carlos Garcia, God bless him. He got me into business. I went through 6 years of college myself, And then I went through an apprenticeship program.
Oh. How do you set the water off? I forget.
Pick the knob up and turn it.
I can't do that. I'm gonna
This
get my
guy's
tools out and replace. It's backwards, and my fingers hurt. Oh, that's why I didn't shut up. I had the house. Yeah, it's not that I don't know how to shut the water off. It's not normal out here, so don't think I'm weird.
Get the hot water going. Was that record? Alright.
I'm gonna set those tomatoes there.
Alright,
Oh,
yeah, like I said, this guy, if this gets shown, I promise, this guy's gonna get a share. If this gets shown in anything, this guy is gonna get a share. I don't have any written documents or anything like that. I don't have anything to sign right now, but as video, you have my promise that if anything gets put out, and if it does make money, this guy will get his share. Alright? Just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, believe it or not, as a Vietnam vet, like I say, it made me feel good, and I never realized how many people really appreciated it until after my fourth daughter was born. And because I have 4 girls and 1 son and 1 boy, and could be being 100% disabled, they have to go to college free, and I thank the government for that, and I thank the American people for that too. But I can't believe how well now I get everything. I ask for something, and it's no problem, Garcia. And I think about it all the time. Like I got a hat over there. I'll get it over here. Show it.
oh God, why did I do that?
The price of freedom is not free, and this is one of my favorite. I got this at the Veterans Memorial, and last year when I was with my brother in Chicago, probably one of the proudest hats I've ever owned. United States Marines, and this is not a cheap hat either.
No.
It's wool. You can even feel it yourself. It's $5 I paid for it at a flea market, and I bought 2 of them. I got one here, and I think the other one's in my bedroom on my wall.
What's the flag mean to you? I mean, you as a Marine?
The flag means everything to me. If you look over the corner there's my American flag, and I do them to take that down at nighttime, and I have my Marine Corps flag inside my bedroom, or inside my workshop there. I got it rolled up, and if you look out in front there's 2 poles. One's for the American flag, which stands higher, and the Marine Corps flag, which stands lower. And then when you go outside here, if you want to go out there, I can show you what it is. I made a plaque for the veterans who died in Iraq. It's sitting out there. It says, this plaque is dedicated to those Marines who have fought, who have sacrificed, fought, and died for their country. Semper Fi, never die. And made it all by hand. So I got it on chains, and I got 2 black wrought iron posts that I have it on. And but the flag, nobody will ever disgrace the flag in front of me. The flag, my mom, I guess God's somewhere in between.
That's a Marine right there. Even if you talk, he's gonna be there. Wow.
I can remember when I first came up to San Francisco from, where was I? Oh, I actually was on my first tour from Vietnam. I came to San Francisco because I was going aboard USS Hancock for sea train. And when I drove up to San Francisco, first place I landed was at Haight-Ashbury. That's where all the druggies were at. And I was driving on the street, and I saw some guy with a Marine Corps dress blue jacket on. Stopped the car, turned the car off, got out of the car, walked up and said, "Hey man, are you a Marine?" He goes, "Nope." Pow! Took the jacket off and threw it back in the car and drove away. Oh yeah. Yeah,
hippie days, right?
Yeah, the hippie days.
Yeah.
Or like my first tour back to Vietnam, what do you call those guys? The guy with the orange smocks? The monks, like? Harry Krishner. They were bringing the airport, and they were in the airport where we landed at. We're talking 300 Marines just coming from Vietnam on a commercial airlines. In fact, it was United, if I remember correctly. We got off the airport, we're walking down, and here comes Harry Krishner with the bells and signs, "Be down with Vietnam, Marines are killers, baby killers, Marines are this." We just wiped their ass up right there at the airport. The police didn't say nothing to us or anything. Mm-hmm. And hey, that was us. You know, we don't say nothing about the Marines. And we weren't no baby killers. We may have had killed a couple women at our time, but they had a weapon in their hands, because I've seen that done myself. But you know, you have to.
That was another question I was going to ask you. Let's say, when you were fighting, right? Mm-hmm. During the time going through, just traveling. You're traveling in the jungle, right?
Right.
I mean, palm trees everywhere, hot, humid,
sweaty, clammy, leeches.
Did you go to a village, or did you see anybody around?
Oh yeah.
How was it?
Oh, we were.
How was the atmosphere like?
Well, believe it or not, the atmosphere in villages were good if we were in the areas and they knew we were coming. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, like when we were in, okay, I don't know if you ever heard of Chu Lai. Yeah. Chu Lai was one of the most active fighting all in Vietnam, and I only got to be there for a day.
Was it jungle type?
No.
No?
No, it was all
was it a hill?
Yeah, no, it was all open.
That's on low.
Chu Lai's where they used to fly the planes in at, bring supplies in for Marines. And the Viet Cong were, no, they weren't even Viet Cong, they were hardcore. As an example, Operation Hastings was the biggest operation ever in Vietnam. It was Army, naval ships, a division of Marines, a division of Korean Marines that came in. We taught them how to fight. And then we had regular Vietnamese Army troops that were there. But the Air Force were dropping 500 and 1,000-pound bombs. We were at least 5 miles away that I could remember. It could feel the percussion of the bombs dropping. 2 days after they did that, then we went in, the Marines. And the holes were so big that you could stick a whole platoon into one of these foxholes. And there was so much fire going on there that they couldn't even drop us down food, sea rations and stuff. And when they did drop it, we had to go out and get it. Talked about taking leaves and wiping our butts with it, and eating it, or taking water and putting it in helmets and putting rocks in it and boiling it to get the minerals or proteins stuff out of it and drink it to keep ourselves alive.
Let me ask you a quick question. This location that I have right now, it's on Chandler Heights and Cooper. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like a field full of palm trees about a mile long. You know, I mean, you're talking, it's a jungle. And me, location, scout. I'm out there taking pictures from, different areas throughout this whole jungle, and I'm like, this is how my movie's going to be made. I mean, I could picture 8, 11 soldiers, a platoon, walking through this jungle. If there's anything that you could help me out, like with that, I mean, all this information is going through this trip,
I'll do better than that.
But this is going to help me direct, like if I could see something. Tell me a time where you were walking through the jungle, right? Yeah. Something like to the sounds, you're stepping on the leaves to, like, you can hear VC talking on the other side or something.
Oh, well, yeah.
The people you encountered, the days, the nights, how were the nights like?
The nights, during the monsoon season, it was always raining. So we always had ponchos on, unless we were out in the jungle on patrol. And we used to set up ambushes. Mm-hmm. And when I say ambushes, we set up in horseshoe shapes.
How many people were there? And it was division, right?
Yeah. Platoon? No, this was a squad. This was only 16 Marines.
16 in a squad?
Yeah.
How many are in a platoon?
62.
62, wow. Yeah. How many are in just a division?
A division is a lot of Marines. There's 4 companies, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 companies. You have H&S platoon, which was harassment and supplies, they used to call it, because they used to give us ammunition and food supplies.
What was your squad called?
M60 machine guns. It was a rifle platoon.
And that's what you would say on the radio?
Weapon platoon. Oh, no.
No.
You never
You don't
did.
even talk English, huh?
Yeah.
You got your own code.
Yeah, we had our own codes. Alpha 1, this is Alpha 2, Alpha 2, this is Alpha 3. This is gun 1, gun 2, gun 3, gun 4. But a lot of times we didn't even talk. We had signals. We used to have the...
They're like this, huh? I've been doing my research on that.
Yeah, that was a lot of that, but that was during the daytime. Nighttime, you had those, you know, the little reflector things that like you have on the back of cars? Except we have on the back of our helmets. That's how we used to be able to see each other. At nighttime.
So,
'cause the moon,
what lights though? Oh, the moon, huh?
the moon would reflect the thing.
Wouldn't that be bad though?
Oh, very bad. Because when we first got there, it was really unfortunate because one of my machine gunners' name was Longoria, because I was machine gunner 1, and that was Longoria, who was an Indian, and this guy was good. I mean good. But 2 of his rifle or ammo men fell behind. And
Like
when
you guys were walking ahead of them?
yes. And we were, I'd say maybe
And this was at night?
at nighttime. You could not see in front of you. That's why we wanted reflector patches on the back of our helmets.
And you can't say anything too. You can't
You
yell.
don't say nothing.
No. Wow.
And Longoria heard him coming up, and he didn't know who it was. Turned around and shot them both down dead.
Mm.
And I mean,
And it's not like you guys can go back for them.
we picked them up.
You did?
Yeah, because they were right up on top of him, and he didn't even know that they were his ammo men.
That's what you're trying to do then too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can never leave a man behind.
Oh no, we never left the Marine behind. Never.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Here we go. Okay. Get back to what we were saying?
Yeah.
So they got shot down.
Yeah, and we picked them up.
You guys picked.
And we took them back. We were going back to our command post, what we call CP command post, where we had the three rifle squads, and then we had the 2 machine gunners. Except I was gone, and Longoria was gone. And when we came back, we dragged the bodies back. And that was
If you guys had a completed mission, right?
yeah.
In one location, and you're doing these, you're just traveling, you're walking, you got it's night day to get to your position, or your.
Well, basically, we used to do that. That was called an operation, like Operation Hastings. I was telling you about.
What kind of missions were they? Like Operation Hastings.
Operation
like how many
Hastings.
years, though?
Well, we want to clearing out a complete. It was a basic training for the Viet Cong. But the Viet Cong were the ones who wore the black pajamas, who were villagers, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they had hardcore. The hardcore were
That's like jungle warfare.
North Vietnamese. These guys wore green hats with red stars and green uniforms. I mean, when we want to go into this operation, Operation Hastings, when we got into their basic training camp, we found, and they say Vietnamese are small.
Mm-hmm.
No. We pulled a guy that was out that had been at least 6 foot tall and 200 pounds. And the reason we found him is that he was laying there and he was moaning. He had dug himself into the side of a hill, and he was moaning so bad because maggots were eating his leg out.
Wow.
Yeah, and this guy was big. And then, as we're going through this whole place, we found sugar from Cuba, weapons from Russia.
Did you guys ever come upon any drugs? Like,
We found medicine that was from Berkeley. First aid kits, Berkeley, California.
from
Okay.
other soldiers that.
No. These were stuff that was sent to them. Yes. Oh yeah, it was the people who were against the Vietnam War, the hippies, or not necessarily hippies, but I don't want to say the politicians, but I'm sure politicians had to do something with the stuff getting sent over. Because how does stuff get like that sent over to Cuba or as far as that goes?
It's the same thing with toothpaste right now.
Yeah, how did it get to Hanoi? I've seen so many Vietnamese. Myself personally, I've probably seen at least over 500 Vietnamese that we captured on different operations that we had run on, including women.
So you guys, so those are missions then?
Yes.
Operations.
They were operations, they weren't called missions. Missions are for Air Force and Army. Marines always went on operations.
All right.
Because we operated, exactly.
So like, let's say you guys got a call on the radio from the radio guy, the soldier.
Okay.
What do they call that guy?
Radio man.
Radio man.
Well, let me explain to you this way.
Okay.
We used to get calls from the Army saying that the Green Beret had left their hill position and needed Marines to go take care of it. We had
So that was your operation.
that was our operation, our mission for them was for the Marines, and I went on one of these to go help the Green Beret get out of. They had actually dropped their rifles and ran. We caught the Vietnamese with their weapons. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of, but they should have been trained better. Mm-hmm. And that's why that song with what's the name about Fighting Star. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What is it? Yeah.
It was
Fighting Star.
Yeah. Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best.
Who's that from?
From the Army.
Oh, they made it up.
Yeah, no, there was a guy who sang it. I don't know what his name was, but in fact, he was a Green Beret. I had nerve.
Right on.
But you know,
All right, so the thing is, I'm stuck on how did these soldiers get here, right? As producer and everything like that, you're gonna have to try to find these people. Casting roles, you're gonna have to post flyers out to the city and say, okay, come for a casting call. Wow, you look like a soldier. Show me a soldier face, like kind of scream. It's all acting.
I don't know.
Army surplus store, $5 for a pack.
Yeah.
You get that knocked out of the way. But now it comes to writing the script, right?
Yeah.
When you write the script, you got to actually sit down and interview a veteran because you cannot read any books whatsoever. You could try to read these books, but you're not going to understand fully as much as you understand by sitting down with somebody right here and talking through the whole process of you actually visualize it better. All this stuff. I mean, you're cool. I'm sorry, you're cool as hell. You're.
Well,
I love the Vietnam veterans.
It sounds
too.
right now my mind is spinning about 5 million miles an hour too, and there's things that I can't say because I know it was wrong. And these guys, you see stuff on TV. The closest thing that I've seen as far as Marine stuff was Platoon. That was 3. Number 2 was that one with the Army, and it didn't have nothing to do with Marines. It was Carol Burnett's son. Was the Line of Fire, where their own artillery destroyed them. And the number one movie was. I think Platoon, is that the one where the guy shot himself in the head in the bathroom?
That's Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
Stanley Kubrick.
I've got a copy of that. And every time I get depressed, I watch it. And that's all me. Because when I see that, I know that I'm a better man than any man that hasn't served. And anybody walks up to me and tells me I'm an asshole or any kind of name like that, or I'm chicken shit or I'm a coward, he has got no idea what any of that means. And
So when you're with your squad, right? You got to develop a relationship with them. I mean, if you're just going in this a new squad or the first time you met these people that were here already, in Vietnam, you're like. You're talking to them. You got to develop a friendship. And how was it between other people that didn't like you or other people that were your best friend?
That clock right there shows that there was no Marine that didn't like me. And the reason I say that, because anytime I went into somewhere, first thing that came out of my mouth was, "Semper Fi, never die, hoorah!" And they all gave it back. And there was no.
So they knew that you had
That's
character
right.
right off the bat.
And there was no color. The only color there was in the Marine Corps was Marine Corps green, and that was it. There was no black, no white, no brown. In your religion, what's that old saying? How'd that go? Your body and your ass may belong. Oh, your body and your soul may belong to the Lord, but your ass belongs to the core.
That's off of Full Metal Jacket right there.
There you go. And that was something. And the other saying they used to have, it's easier to sweat in peace than it is to bleed in war. That was one of the signs that they used to have in all the barracks.
I heard the saying too. It's better to kill than to be killed. You know, like
yeah, right.
Saying that in Vietnam time. You know.
Oh yeah, and you know you don't ask no questions. You give the answer first. You know, don't ask no questions.
Well, how were you though? I mean, like everybody, you know, they were friends with you. Like you just said about the plaque, right?
Yeah.
Everything like that. As far as that, what did you guys do to joke around? Like, name some kind of things you guys did. Like
Play cards, play dice.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Those were your hobbies.
Or we would go out in the mountains and catch rattlesnakes and cut their heads off, pull the skins back, and eat them. Oh yeah. We were crazy.
I'd done that.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you what, before, I don't know exactly where it's at, but you were asking me about what, well, here's an example. I used to take my two oldest daughters with a couple of Marines. I used to have a Volkswagen bus, which is that picture right there. It's red, white, and if you look at the windows, on the bus there, it's made. The window shades are made from an American flag that was to be burnt. And all I did is I cut the pieces out and I asked my commanding officer about it, and I got it blessed by the chaplain. They had to put my bus. And as long as you do not disgrace the flag, like throwing it on the ground or burning it or something like that, you can do that. Because I got American flags inside my shop here. I've got them in my back bedroom. I've got a flag that dripped from one wall, going down like this, across the mirrors.
I was gonna represent that in some kind of way to emulate, you know, a symbol in the movie itself, the script. I mean, for which it stands. I mean, you do the Pledge of Allegiance, you know, Pledge of Allegiance under God.
That's something that bothers me too. Is that
I mean, I used to say it at school, but when you're at a school, you forget it. You know, and of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation.
I wanted to just take that out and name it that movie. So somehow, throughout this whole entire movie, right, I got to put the flag in there, but as a symbol, to where you're not seeing a flag, but the meaning of the American flag represents some way, you know, of what they're doing in that whole entire movie.
well, you know, the stars mean a lot, because that meant the different states, and to me it was what lit the sky up. Okay, and the blue is of course with the ocean is what hurts the most because it's blood from Marines.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's my, and the white, I guess meant daylight as far as I was ever concerned.
The thing is too is like this movie is going to be positive. It's going to be a message to the, you know, it's going to be a positive movie. I mean, you're going to get that same feeling as a low budget, you know, first time director.
Yeah.
You're going to get the same feeling as watching Full Metal Jacket. I mean, it's going to be action packed, but then again, it's going to have a meaning to it. You're going to actually get a message right after you're done watching it, and you're going to say, hey, wow. You know, because it's 2004, 2005 era, you know, a veteran talking to his grandson, and then all of a sudden it dissolves from there, and he's being drafted.
Well, I'll be quite honest with you, probably after you leave here.
Huh?
Probably after you leave here,
Uh-huh.
I'll probably start crying
What is that?
because of all the stuff I told you. It'll bring back memories. I'll go back into my room tonight, and I'll lock the door, secure it. I'll even probably take my K-bar out of my drawer in the back there, and underneath the pillow, and I'll be thinking about all the shit I get tonight. It'll be going through my head. It'll probably take me about a week to get this all back out. It's good for me to bring it out, but then once it's out, it's there right back again where it was at before.
I appreciate everything. Seriously, and I've already spoke with Billy
Yeah.
right next door, and he couldn't say anything. And I mean, this has been one of the first. It's been the first interview, you know, and the best too. You know, I can tell you right now that if I can't, I'm not you. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's you, so they
Tell you
can't
what you
see
do.
how you feel.
You come back tomorrow, and I'll have the front set up the way I was talking about with the American flag and Marine Corps flag sitting right there. You come back up. I don't know if you noticed the logs are sitting out in front there now. I for some reason or another, I thought I saw a vehicle that reminded me of one of the vehicles I saw on the road while I was in Vietnam. When the lady across the street, raid next door here, had a tree cut down, I asked if I could have the tree. And that's what else right in front of my house now. So nobody can run it and come into the front of my house. I'm serious. And I always move. You can ask Becky.
What?
Don't I move stuff in my house in certain way, certain places to where?
Yeah, he'll know if somebody's been in here.
Oh, yeah.
You won't get in safely. If you think you're gonna break in, you're gonna be hurting when you get in here.
Well, that's good. That's good. That reminds me of.
Oh, you won't
Monk.
believe some of the neat
You know that
things that
episode?
some of the neat. I mean, living in the jungles like they did or whatever. Some of the things that they came up with for booby traps, and stuff like,
What kind
That
of
one
booby
thing
traps
was
did
telling
they
me.
do?
Oh, Malayan whips,
Oh, man,
bungee
some of
pits. Bungee pits were big holes with pieces of bamboo stuck in that had sharp points on them. And they used to piss and shit on them. So if you fell into them, you poked the holes you got in your body, it was disinfected, and you would get sick on it.
Wow.
Malayan whips, yeah, these are good
What is
ones.
that?
There's some neat things. that
Oh yeah, these were real good. Say this was a gate, and you had to go through it, and you had to pull the gate open.
One of those little bamboo gates.
Yeah, it could be any kind of gate. It could be made out of vines. And what happens is that the first ones they used to have would come across like this and stick you this way. Well, it was a piece of bamboo, and they'd stick things in there, and it'd get you. Well, they used to duck. So then we put them up on top, and we bend them back this way. So when this one would come in, it would duck, the other would come down across this way. So if they didn't get you this way, it would get you this way.
Wow.
Or, what was the other one? I don't remember what the name of it was, but what it did is it would, if you were somebody, it would pick you up, string you up like this, and then throw you up against a tree that had all these spikes sticking out of it. Or they had a tree. Now this is Viet Cong were doing this. They had a tree and it had all these spikes, and it would be up, I'd say 200 feet high, and the first Marine would trip it, and this tree would swing down and just wipe out anybody that was in the path, didn't see it coming. Or they would have a sniper down the road.
Yeah. How would that?
So snipers were good. So the only thing snipers were effective for, what they were supposed to do, was slow down the American troops. What they would do, they would shoot the first guy, not necessarily kill him, just wound him. So they would slow him down. But when they did that, the Marines or anybody else would go to the side of the road. And on the side of the road, they would have more of those bamboo things sticking up. And you would land on them. Go through your body, through your hearts. Or, say you're on patrol and you're walking through a bush, shrub. This is why when we used to eat sea rations, we would take the cans and smash them. You never opened the top up and left it open without taking the bottom out when you were done eating. Smash it so they couldn't use it. Because what they used to do, they would take the can and stick it in the ground, put dirt around it, and take a bullet and stick it right inside the center of the can and put a small nail on the bottom. So when you walked on top of it, the bullet would go down and up through your foot. That's why the Marines came up with the steel plates on the bottom of their jungle boots. Bouncing Betties.
Bouncing Betties.
Yes. They were hand grenades or C4, whatever, and they would have, like my own thing, I used to take bamboo with C4 and stick it out on posts and color it with dirt and stuff. So if anybody came by, I had these little, they were blasting caps inside a vine that came up. And all I had, and remember I told you about that sensing thing?
Mm-hmm.
I could tell if it was a snake crawling in the ground. I could tell if it was a water buffalo or a a rat. Well, you didn't see too many rats there. Or I could tell it was a human being. I could tell and where they were at, because we had the sensors at 125 feet, 75 feet, or 100 feet, and I had them in different places. And they would all show up on the Geiger counters. And we could tell. But anyway, boom, pow! And you ever have bamboo get stuck? Oh, it's
No, my uncle was in the Marines, and he said that they used to shove it up.
underneath the nails, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be like the most painful thing
Oh, yeah.
ever.
Ouch.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, dude. What are some of the positive things? I mean, like, what are the
Some
good
of the
times you remember?
good times. Once a week, we were able to buy 2 cans of beer a day for 25 cents.
Every week?
Every week, yeah.
Just 2 cans?
2 cans. Oh, 2. Yeah. Well, we'd save them up for a month, and at the end of the month, we'd switch gears. And
What kind of beer?
it was American beer, but then I was
Would you guys like trade? Like, if let's say somebody got some cookies sent to them or something.
Oh, my mom used to send me what? My mom used to send me whiskey and joy soap bottles because they couldn't. You're not supposed to sell alcohol or anything like that through the mail.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Oh, we used to buy what they called tiger beer or panther piss. And it was beer that was like squirt in a bottle, but we used to get that from the villagers.
Mm-hmm.
But we stopped buying it, that and whiskey. They said it was Seagram 70, they got it from the black market. But what they used to do is they used to cut the bottom of the bottle out, put some water in it, and put the whiskey back in it, take a real fine glass, crush it up, and stick it in a bottle, and seal the bottles off, and they sell them to the Marines. When you drank it, it kills you. You would just cut your inside. That was good.
Yeah, I heard that before. I mean, the vegetation and everything. Yeah.
Candles, gunpowder in the middle of them. If you didn't check them up, hold up to the sun like that, boom! And you'd be inside a bunker.
I heard too. Even the hookers too.
Oh yeah, razor blades up inside their pussy.
Yep. I heard that. My dad told me that, and I'm like, Dad,
Wow.
no,
Yeah.
no.
It wouldn't be so bad, but I swear my mother's life, I never went out in the jungle, and I never got any booty in Vietnam. I got it in Thailand, Hawaii, Japan, all the other places.
Oh, I just undone your phone.
Huh? Okay.
Okay, but
Yes, okay.
all right. Oh shit.
But oh yeah, at the first time I heard a Marine scream.
Oh,
Just
man.
think about it.
This guy come running up the hill like this, no clothes on, and his dick had been cut right down the middle.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went, oh God, that was one of the first things that made me never go down to the village.
Yeah.
And we used to go down to the village during the daytime. We used to go down there, and you got to meet some of the girls down there, but they were young girls. In fact, when you come on, if you come by here before you...
Well, why didn't the razor blades hit the girls? Hurt the girls?
Because they had them sewn inside of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they were up like this. The blade, and it was a single edge. It wasn't the double edged blades.
But they made the girls do that. So
Oh yeah. The Viet Cong.
God, that's.
Oh yeah.
They were soldiers themselves, right?
Yeah. Oh no. They were whores for the Viet Cong.
They just got pissed
So
off.
yeah. So when they went out to see the Viet Cong, they'd take it off. They just cut the line out, the razor blade out. But oh yeah. Now here's something I know you'll never ever hear anybody ever tell you. I've eaten dog, I've eaten cat, I've eaten rats, mice, monkey. I had monkey brains. I was on a ship. This was a royal specialty. It was where was I at? Philippines. I was Reverend Morrison's bodyguard. We went to a dignitary thing, and they actually served monkey brains.
I've seen that on what is it?
Yeah.
60 Minutes. 60 Minutes was doing
But
or
these-
National Geographic.
These monkeys were alive.
But they actually served them too.
Yes.
In the Asian restaurants.
They had a little cut hole in the table and had a box where the monkey was in it. Slid him in there and closed them, and their heads were all shaved on top. And when it was time to have the monkey brains, somebody came in there and took off the skull, right off the top of the head, and the monkeys were alive.
I heard, if you're not from Asia, Americans are the only people that are like, oh, no, like.
I ate it.
Well, see, I guess if you live there, it's natural, like they get that at
Yeah,
a
right.
restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
That's still happening right now.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I mean,
I had grasshoppers. I had chocolate grasshoppers that were sent from the United States to here. Ants. I eat ants that were that big in Vietnam. They used to pick up I used to call them John Wayne cookies, and take them and walk off with them. And be saying, "Hey man, did you take my cookies?" And if you look down the road, you'd see the cookies were big chocolate wafers like this. They were like a Nestle Crunch, but they were in aluminum foil, okay? And these guys, the ants would actually be taking them away. And if you didn't want your food, they would do the same thing too.
Mm.
But I learned to cook while I was in Vietnam. That was, talk about something good. I had my own little, I told you we had a little command post. Well, I had a little garden there. I had onions, potatoes, no tomatoes, zucchini. I think that was about it.
And this is all rolled up in your pack?
No. I had this in a little garden behind the foxhole. And and watered it every day. And the Scotty onions, I would cut them off and put them in okay, they used to have what they call ham and lima beans.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call them ham and motherfuckers. Because they used to make you fart all the time. And everybody knew who had the ham and lima beans that day. But they had meatballs and spaghetti, which was real good. And put a little slice
Yeah, I
of
was reading a book how they get it flown in.
Yeah. Ours was cans.
Every week, just like beer.
Yeah.
You guys get like ice too in bags.
Yep.
I was reading about that. How the little kids would ride bicycles for about 2 or 3 miles and sell them for, I think, 25 cents. The soldiers would give them 50 cents because of the ride over there. Just being drafted, all that. You know, like they would write letters. They'd make their tents out of their honchos.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to carry as much gear.
Yeah.
And the more gear you carry,
The heavier it was.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know, so you got to be smart. So this guy would be making like a tent. If it was raining, he said it rained a lot during
Monsoon season.
I think October.
Yeah.
And then during the summer, it was just dread hot.
Ah,
He
yeah.
said he hated it. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the guy that I was reading about.
Like the mama sons, he used to call them, the ones who used to carry the bundles of sticks. I never did figure out what the hell I did with those sticks. But those bundles were so heavy, even I couldn't pick them up. Come to find out, the reason those mama sons could pick them up, they were so spun out on betel nut. And betel nut was morphine. What you used to take is the morphine or opium.
You guys had that in your medic though, right?
Oh, no. Mm-mm. The only one that had that was Columbia. There was. I'm gonna tell you something. Those were a lot of Marines that were there.
Because I've seen in movies where they just like.
Oh yeah, well. See, I'm a diabetic, and I shoot myself up with insulin all the time now.
Your mom.
But I do it here in my stomach. But that's how I learned. And we took blister gas, and it's liquid, and we took a needle, and we stuck it in there, and pricked ourselves on the arm, and had a blister that big within a matter of minutes. But we didn't carry that blister gas stuff like that. That was back in Germany.
Would you guys complain about your feet?
Oh, my feet were so bad when I was in the Marine Corps. It was pathetic.
But you didn't say anything, huh?
Oh no, because
A Marine in your squad that got caught saying something would.
No. We
You
always
look down
help.
on
We
her?
always help each other.
Yeah.
There was one of our other machine guns after I became the squad leader or platoon leader of the weapons platoon.
How was that?
Being that,
How did you get, from squad, to be
I went from a
leader?
machine gunner up to a platoon leader within 3 years. And that's because I served 2 tours in Vietnam. I was on my 3rd tour, going back to land on my 3rd tour, and
And it feels a lot better being the leader, right?
well, you're in charge of men and you're responsible. It's not that you feel good because you are. An NCO, let me put it this way, E4, E5 were almost like an angel in heaven. This is no joke. Nobody, E1s, E2s, and E3s, you did not disrespect an uncommissioned officer in the Marine Corps. And that was 2 stripes, cross rifles, 3 stripe cross rifles. Now, when you got to where I was at, was 3 stripes, cross rifles, and a rocker, you were God. You were God. From that time up, nobody said nothing. I mean, Marines would have to walk past you and go, "By your leave, sir," and then go past you. They could not just walk past you. No, you didn't get saluted, but when you get a recruit right out of basic training, yes, sir, didn't need to salute you. He already knew. But they say now in the Marine Corps now these days, it's totally different. Because I almost went back in, and especially when they told me I was physically fit to go back into the Marine Corps, and I went, "Oh, is that right?" I said, "Yeah, I was on my way to OCS."
Let's say, like during this movie and stuff, I'm asking you a little question.
Okay, sure.
During there. How would you relate it? I mean, like, I turn on the TV right now, you know, and I don't want to get into all the political comments,
I can't,
all that stuff, all those issues. You know, I just want to.
I can't watch war movies.
Not war movie or the news itself.
No, that doesn't bother me.
What is it? What do you think when you watch the news right now? I mean, about it's kind of died down a little bit.
Yeah. I tell you what I don't like about the news is that
I'm sorry.
it's all bad news. It's all bad news. It ain't got
Exactly.
nothing to
It's
do.
the media.
The media, exactly.
They blow it out of proportion. When yes, I did.
Bazooka Joe.
There's no bazooka.
There's no
in the army.
bazookas in
That's
the
only in the
Marine
army. What is it? 3.1?
3.5 rocket launcher.
3.5 rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Terry, where's the broom?
Outside.
Out back?
Oh no. Excuse me.
That was Army though, ain't it?
No, it's Marine.
Oh. I'm trying to remember what my brother
I'm
was.
sorry if I forget anything. I'm gonna keep on rewinding this and watching it as I'm writing on my computer. It's just gonna keep on playing back and forth.
Yeah, I'd like to see what you did because
I want to bring you up.